Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
Well, here's some insanity for you. In Michigan, the legislature is considering going with toll roads to raise money to fix our horrible, horrible roads. And here's the deal. If you're not from Michigan, this might not appeal to you so much, but if you're in Michigan, you should be freaked out by this concept. I know people in other states that go, Steve, we've got toll roads. They ain't so bad. I've driven through Illinois, around Lake Michigan, going up to the Upper Peninsula, going that way via Chicago. And you're hitting all these toll booths. And I guess maybe if you get used to them, you can live with them. And you don't mind the leech that's in the back of your neck that you can't get off, and it's just sucking a small amount of blood. You'll live with it, right? Right now in Michigan, I believe the only thing that qualifies technically as a toll road is the Mackinac Bridge. If you do searches on various Google mapping or mapping apps and say, like, how long will it take me to drive from here to here, here to here, if you involve something from the upper to the lower peninsula or vice versa, and you cross the Mackinac Bridge, it will say some portions of this road contain tolls. And I remember the first time I saw it, I said, what? But the Mackinac Bridge, they do charge you to cross the bridge. So it's the only place in Michigan that they actually charge you to drive, for the most part, as far as I can tell. But, like I said, they are now considering putting toll roads elsewhere to raise revenue because Michigan's roads are so horrible. And it's due to mismanagement in Lansing. It's the legislature. Our politicians are just idiots. And that's a technical term. Toll roads proposed in Michigan. This story is from WILX, which, of course, is a TV station in Lansing, our capital. And Christiana Ford wrote the story. Chances are, if you live in Michigan, you've complained about the roads more than once. In fact, I complained about them just the other day. Somebody asked me specifically, how bad are Michigan roads? And I said, well, they are the worst in the civilized world. Possibly the worst in the civilized world, but at the very least, they are among the worst in the nation. Without question, they are horrible. So Senator John Bison, who represents Berry, Calhoun, and Ionia counties, introduced a bill to conduct a feasibility study investigating the cost and factors involved in adding tolls to certain highways or bridges. Now, here's the great thing about politicians. They talk about introducing a bill to conduct a study to investigate the cost. So we're going to have committees having meetings about forming committees about studying the possibility of creating a report about the possibility of doing. The Senate Transportation and Infrastructure Committee approved the legislation in November. First I'm hearing of this. And the Senate is expected to vote on the bill next week. So Senator Tom Barrett told News 10, which I guess is WILX, a number of other states, especially those that surround Michigan, have toll roads in them. And a lot of my constituents have asked me whether or not that's something we should do in Michigan. I guarantee you there's not a single person who's asked that man and said, yes, have you thought about toll roads? Let's have toll roads. If they did, they said, don't do toll roads, whatever you do. So again, Senator Tom Barrett, being completely truthful with the news, said this. A number of other states, especially those that surround Michigan, have toll roads in them. And a lot of my constituents have asked me whether or not that's something we should do in Michigan. If they asked them that, they were not asking it in a positive manner. They were basically telling him, dude, don't do toll roads. That's the one thing we should not do. I admire Illinois for some things. I admire Indiana for some things. I admire Ohio for some things. The toll roads are not what I admire about any of those states. No one ever says, boy, I admire Illinois. They've got those good toll roads. I love those toll roads. Okay? In fact, I should tell you, a couple of years ago on Twitter, which I actually have a Twitter account, I posted a tweet about how I got robbed, figuratively speaking, by a toll booth in Indiana. I put in the money and it didn't credit me for the money. Said to put in more money. And then I posted a joke on Twitter about, just got, highway robbery at the toll booth in Indiana. Somebody from Indiana actually tweeted me back and said, if you can show us a photograph of the thing and a receipt and a bunch of documentation, we'll give you your money back. I didn't actually document my interaction with the machine that closely while there's people behind me. And anyways, no one wakes up in the morning and goes, thank heavens for toll roads. Now, there is a federal law that prohibits states from turning federal highways into toll roads, but there are ways around it because politicians will do that. Barrett said there are some federal programs that are kind of an exploratory way or a pilot program that would allow states to invest in this here or there. There's also an ability to toll bridges that is not covered by those federal exclusions or prohibitions, so there is some nuance to a lot of this, said Barrett. These are all options the Michigan Department of Transportation would look into if a feasibility study is approved in the legislature. Barrett says the study could cost a few $1 million, but is open for discussion. Just so you know this, they're going to spend a few million tax dollars studying whether or not they should start charging people to cross, say, the Zilwaukee Bridge. The study will kind of paint a picture for us whether we can invest in toll roads, Yes, it's going to take a lot of time and investment to create a toll road. Yeah, it's like our children are our future. Investing in youth. We're going to invest in toll roads. Wow! I wonder if the return on investment. This is genius. And then from there, we can have the debate whether or not we should. Why don't we have the debate now? I can explain to you both sides. We have what we have right now, which is non-toll roads. And yeah, there's a problem with how screwed up they are. Or we can have toll roads where you inconvenience drivers and either make them buy a pass they got to put money on, or you actually have a lineup where people got to get in line and pay something like they do in the Mackinac Bridge. And during holiday weekends, there's a big backup that goes 2.5 miles back to the middle of the bridge because the bridge is 5 miles long, for those of you who don't know. My point is simply this. You say, Steve, you're looking at it wrong. If they institute toll roads and they generate money, they can then take that money to fix the roads. Oh, let me explain to you who they are. They are the politicians who are in Lansing and the people who are there who are supposed to be running this stuff. And you're going to trust them to take the money from this source and always put it to this source? We know how that goes. Anytime you put money in the pot, they find ways to spend it. And they never spend it the way they're supposed to. And they always run deficits for some weird reason. And they create debts. And you and I both know that if they installed one toll road and they're bringing in money, somebody would say, oh, we need that money for something else this year. But that's not a problem. We can raise the tolls. And we can put out some more toll roads to raise more money. They're bringing in more money from more toll roads, putting the money in the pot. And somebody goes, we could fix the roads, but there's a more pressing concern. We've got to do this. We've got to do that. We've got to do this. We got to do that. The roads are always at the bottom of the priority list, but the money is always there, tempting them to spend it. And they find ways to spend it. How do we know? Because it's going to take several $1 million to study a question that we all know the answer to. Okay? Will toll roads make money? Yes. Can they put in toll roads if they want to? Yes. Does anybody want them? No. Will they spend the money properly? No. 5 years from now, if we've had toll roads for 4.5 years, will people be happy they went in? No. Now, if you want to spend $1 million and pay me to deliver those answers to Lansing, I will. I'll do it for $500,000 and I'll save you $500,000. But the point is, this is an idiotic thing. This guy's floating this, hoping it doesn't cause an uproar. I hope it does cause an uproar. But strangely, like I said, they first started talking about this 2 months ago. And this is the first I've heard of it. So this study will kind of paint a picture for us whether we can invest in toll roads. And then from there, we can have the debate whether or not we should. We can have that debate now, dude. Trust me. We can have the debate now. The feasibility study is not a done deal yet. The Senate is expected to vote on it next week, and then it will head over to the House for any revisions before they'll take a vote. And then, of course, like all bills on Capitol Hill, it'll have to go to an executive, I assume, for a signature. And if she doesn't sign it, then it can get sent back to see if they can override that and so on and so forth. And the point simply is this. Michigan does not, for any practical purpose, have toll roads. We don't have toll roads. We've got one bridge that I said charges money to cross. I understand there's also ferries that'll charge you, but that's a different story altogether. But the point is that right now we don't have toll roads. I've driven in Ohio, toll roads. I've driven in New York, toll roads. Driven in Indiana, toll roads. Driven in Illinois, toll roads. Okay? I've dealt with toll roads before, and I understand how they are. I understand that nowadays they're a little bit better, where they can give you a little transponder, a little thing you stick in your windshield, and you go underneath it, and then you pay the money in advance, and blah, blah, blah. I understand it. That's made it a little bit easier than in the old days where you had to get in line and pay tolls to go through and get through the toll road. My problem is really that once they put in a toll road and they start getting the money in, I've mentioned this before, politicians get addicted, and they are addicted to tax dollars. They get addicted to the cash flow. Once the money's coming in, they'll find a way to spend it. For every dollar they bring in, they spend $1.10. So they're always digging the hole deeper. So when more money gets pushed into the hole, they don't say, oh, now we can spend within our means. No, they go, now we can spend more. Because every dollar that comes in, they spend $1.10. So when you pour more money into Lansing through the toll road, they're simply going to spend it. Are they going to spend it on roads? Probably not, because they've got money now they're not spending on roads. And don't try telling me that they've got exactly this much money, and this much money is being spent, and the amount of money they would need for roads is right here. If only they had a little bit more. All of that excess, any extra money they get, would all go towards the roads. Because you and I both know the second they get this much money, they're going to go, oh, the roads are up here. Oh, the roads are up here. Doesn't matter, okay? So a toll road in Michigan is a dumb idea. You guys in Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, New York who've got them that I've experienced, more power to you for having them, but we don't need them here. And I think that people should let their senators and other Congress people in Lansing, such as John Bison and Tom Barrett, that no, we don't want toll roads, and no, we don't think you should spend millions of dollars studying whether we want them or not. Go out and actually ask some actual people, and you'll get the response you got from me. You'll get the response from them. I assure you, you will, okay? So toll roads proposed in Michigan, dumb idea, shouldn't happen, and you should tell your legislator about it. Questions or comments, put them below. Otherwise, talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. You will do foolish things, but do them with enthusiasm.